Hey everybody, Paul Turner here from thediscipleproject.net, back from Hawaii. Clearly, the background's a little different, but it's good to be home because then I can upload all these great videos of the trainings and the games that we did with the youth workers in Kauai, Hawaii, which is why I was there. I was there training youth workers in Kauai to do great youth ministry and to build great youth ministries. And so hopefully these videos will do the same for you. Now, today's video is about the 4 rules of creating. That if you're going to create a program, if you're going to create a mission trip, if you're going to create a meeting or a small group, something like that. These are 4 rules that you can use within your ministry, and it comes with these ideas from a great chef, and I tell all about it in the video, which, by the way, is also an article in my book, The Youth Ministry Playbook, which is available right now. You can download it. There'll be a link down in the description, so you can either buy a physical copy like this, or you can download it, and I hope that you do, because let me tell you what, this will get you on track this year. If you have not gotten on track yet, you don't feel like you're super organized, you don't feel like you're there, it's not too late, it's only February, you can jump in and get started right now. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the video, and we'll see you at the end. There's 4 areas that this chef of this famous reopening of this great place here, the chef says, look, there's 4 things about this restaurant that I make sure when we're serving food. I make sure it's beautiful, I make sure it's creative, I make sure it's intentional, and I make sure it's delicious. How many of you have ever been to a restaurant that was like extra special? All the time. Breadsticks for days. That's like their special thing, right? But Daniel Hum, who's the chef, describes this. In the show, like I said, they are super on point with everything. You can call it branding, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But there's these things that go into this restaurant that is, it's called Lebanon Madison Park is the name of the restaurant. It's the top 50 best restaurants in the world. And so they follow them through this. And his rule is it beautiful, is it creative, is it intentional, and is it delicious? I want to talk about these because what do these 4 things have to do with youth ministry? Well, that's part of the planning process. That's part of doing the things like Justin was saying. It was like figuring out all the little particulars, right? How do we do this? How do we do that? How do we make the best event we can do it? Because a lot of times, youth workers, we throw things up on the calendar and we just pray. Hey, come on to the thing. And then nobody shows up and you go, God is good. And, and then you're like, nothing happened, right? So let's go to the first one. Is it beautiful? And you notice, what? Beautiful. Because here I am. And it is beautiful. So what do we then say about, is it beautiful? What have you been to a place where you ordered something and it was beautiful? Anybody? It was beautiful to look. You almost didn't want to eat it. Once again, breadsticks are beautiful. What have you ordered that you said that is beautiful?
I ordered a roast duck.
Roast duck? Okay. Anybody else? Something beautiful that came out? Yes.
The chef I work for, we trout along in the air.
Oh, okay. Fancy. That's fancy fish right there.
Fish with a little bit of cream sauce.
There you go. That's right. Right. Chefs, here's the deal, and that's a good point. French, right, come up with fancy words for common dishes and then make us pay 3 times as much for it. Right? So all you're doing is taking your event, your program, your meeting, your name, you say, look, we're gonna make it beautiful. We're gonna change names. So I came up with this here. This is just a logo. I typed in youth ministry logos or youth ministry, graphics, and that came up. What is that?
It's a buff fish guy holding his sword.
Okay. What does it say to you?
They fight with swords.
They fight with swords, which, by the way, this could be a middle school group. They are liking that. What else is it saying to you? What does it communicate to you? You're a sword drills? Old school. Sword drills, right? Who knows what a sword drill is? God, that's where they used to shout out a Bible verse or whatever you have. Yeah, you'd have to do the thing. The first one to go ahead and find it, right? Could be that, but it doesn't tell us that, does it? It just says, okay. You'd have to be in the know to know what that is, right? They go like, homeschool kid says, hey, Bible drills. That's what we're going to do. So that's not, I would say this is not great because it doesn't communicate anything. You'd have to be in the know to what it is. I would not say it's beautiful. I would say it's okay. You found some clip art or did something and there you put that together. Good for you. The next one is this. What does that say? Okay, and what's wrong with this picture?
It's all nice and colorful. It's so
It's, well, the nice and colorful is not as bad, but
like
what's the message?
The message is like, we're done.
You're done.
Like
It's 80-year-old.
It's 80 years old. Game over. You're about to die. Right. Sorry. You know what? That brings up the church. I'm not lying. The name of the seniors group of my last church, the name of their group, and our pastor came up with them. God bless him. Was called Still Here. And not lying. Still here. Okay. So what else is wrong with this? It says, okay, Gabriel, so what else is maybe wrong with this? What is it communicating or not communicating?
It says embracing the new life.
Okay.
Practice 13 times with a game over message.
So what could it be?
It could be like
Black,
that.
let's watch something.
Okay. It could be that. It could be a gamer theme, right? They lost the message here somewhere. They went, who are they talking to, right? Who are they communicating with? And yet, guys, we've all done it. Created a graphic or logo that was poop. And we expected our kids to love it. Or someone to understand it. And they didn't. Not beautiful. Okay? Here's another one. What does that say?
Lock it.
When is it? Okay? And even further, when is it? So you have on there what it is, when it is, and the specific date that it is. Right? You can't, and it's super, what are some other things that you notice about this that make it beautiful in that regard?
Background.
Color? Vibrant?
Exciting. We have an excited guy doing something who seems happy from the research.
Yeah, let me encourage you that if you're going to do something like this, put one of your own kids on it. Don't go looking for like Googling team jumping up and slap that in there. Don't do that. Get one of your kids. I wrote a curriculum called Crime Scenes from the Bible. So I borrowed some Bible clothes from the drama room and I dressed this kid up and I told him go lay down on the ground there, and then I put a tape outline around him, like a crime scene. So that kid is forever. You can't see his face, but he is forever the cover of that. And he's just there. I didn't have to go find something. I used what was in my house, what was in my wheelhouse. Said, hey, I got kids who can do that. So always use graphics of your kids. That's beautiful because everybody loves to see themselves, right? Everybody loves to see that kid. Find the most exciting kid, right? Who wants to be there, who's going probably, and say, hey, are you going? Great. Can I use your picture? Great. Everybody goes, oh, so-and-so's going. I think I'll go. That might be a thing, right? So that would constitute beauty in the graphics, in what you're trying to communicate, because, bless you, because you want kids to come. Unbeautiful things, or ugly graphics and ugly things like that, you are doing yourself in from the get-go because nobody's paying attention, either because it doesn't communicate what it is, or because it just the color of the picture and those things are not good. I'm going to give you a couple of things here. This is an app for your phone or on your laptop called Canva. Anybody use Canva? A few of you. This is called Canva. Canva is about as easy a graphic design as you can get. Okay? Now, some pictures cost, but the pictures you get are only $1. Anything you buy off there is $1. There's lots of free stuff, and you can scale up and those kind of things, but you have templates, you have other things, you have text you can find. I don't like the fact that they started charging for certain fonts. I think that's a bit rude. I think that's like, really? You're gonna charge for a font? Give me a break. And download that font like, on the next page of font, right? So, but something like Canva will help you develop great logos, great graphics for an event, those kind of, and just play around with it. It's okay if you do some ugly things. You'll get better. Not everybody starts out at the gate and says, hey, I want to make great stuff. Okay, the second one is this is called Adobe Spark. Anybody ever use Adobe Spark? Okay, this is a graphic that you're going to see here in a little while, but that's the graphic I made. And it's super clean because I just used icons. That's the best thing. Everything on Adobe Spark, free. There's certain things, but you can get pictures free. All that kind of stuff you can find. You can search pictures, all that kind of stuff. You can find it. Play around with it, but those they have a great selection of icons. Like if you just type in lips, about 100 different kinds of lips. It's just, it's just simple things. So if you want to do a slice of pizza, it's just clean and there you go. Okay? So that's Adobe Spark. Okay? So make it beautiful. Number 2, is it delicious? Is it delicious? And you know what? Part of that too is, thinking back here to a second, is the fact that, restaurant people will tell you, and everybody will tell you, eat with your eyes. Right? So you say, is it beautiful? But then the tasting part, is it delicious? And when the chef says, look, is it delicious? There's 3 things that I would like to comment about as far as how that connects with our youth ministry. Number 1, messages are appetizers, not main courses. We tend to think we're building to the main course, which is, hey, here's the word. I am giving you my revelation. Right? We think that's the thing. In reality, messages are appetizers, and the real meal is when kids go home and talk to God for themselves. Right? You're saying, look, I'm giving you this thing, now go home and gorge yourself even further. We think that once we've ended the message that we've done our job and that's it. The real job is that those kids going home and thinking about what you just said or committing to a habit or whatever they're doing. So really the messages are just appetizers to whet their appetite to pursue God on their own time, right? Number 2 is add spice and passion, right? Nobody, just like Rick said, nobody complains about a short message, right? I would say nobody complains about a passionate message either. People always complain about monotone, voice inflection, read it off the paper. Look, even if you read it off the paper, you can still put a little spice into it, a little passion into it. Use an illustration, use something. Have an object to use, put something with it, right? Don't just leave it hang. There's always a way you can do that. And number 3, atmosphere matters. Just like we set up the room for your day, there are ways that you can set up the atmosphere for whatever it is you're doing that night, right? Set your room up for success. A lot of times if you come into a cold room, no sound, no music, you feel like you're walking into a museum. You're just supposed to stand there and look at pretty things or whatever. There's no interaction, there's nobody at the door to greet people, there's all those things. And you have to prep for that. You have to be able to say, look, I'm going to make this thing delicious. I'm going to make people's mouths water because of the thing that's going to be served to them tonight as far as the youth meeting goes. The third one, is it creative? And once again, Justin did such a super job talking about, you don't have to be creative. You think creative means original. Creative doesn't mean original. Creative means I'm going to take what you have and I'm going to spin that and I'm going to put my own little spin on that. That's all that means. You just took something and said, I'm going to mix it up here. I like this quote by William Pollard. It says, without change, there is no innovation, creativity, or incentive for improvement. Those who initiate change will have a better opportunity to manage the change that is inevitable. Change is coming. If you're not changing, how many of you complain that your church is stuck and doesn't change? Nobody? When does that? Oh, God bless you, I was going to say, But I'm going to say, look, there's churches, but here's the deal though. You eventually become those people. Those people in your church came from somewhere. They came from maybe where you were, but did not innovate or change or kill something or get rid of something or start something new. So part of that is introducing new concepts, new games, new things. You can play the same game 25 times every week, but that's the whole point of the creative thing is that when they're coming in, they're getting something new. You like restaurants when they start putting maybe a little something extra on the menu, or they've done something to it, a meal that you like, but they've made it better. So be creative. Be creative with what you do. Go ahead and do some of those things that we've taught you. Put them into practice. You don't have to put them into practice all at once. one of the highest paying jobs in the church today are called, anybody know the title? Highest paying jobs in the church? Huh? Creative directors. Did you say creative directors? I didn't hear you, so points for him. Okay? 1,000 points. 1,000 points for you. So how many? 1,000. Now, so creative directors do everything from how the service flows, what does the stage look like, all those things, right? You're a worship pastor, so you know. Are you also the creative director in your church? Is that a subtitle?
No.
No? Is there somebody who organizes that? Or decides those things?
People, so they all kind of just sort of come down.
Okay. Everybody kind of piles in. But there's some churches who just want one person. Right? Who says, look, because sometimes everybody doesn't agree. So somebody has to be in charge and says, hey, we're going to do this. This is the theme this month. This is the thing. What's in the foyer? I'm going through it right now. I mean, my churches, they've hired people who do that. And they tell me what color the walls are going to be. And they tell me they are creative directors. They're saying that we want a certain feel and a vibe when we come into the church. And we're saying we're going to get rid of that table. We're going to do this. Hey, that's great. That's part of the deal. So be creative. Change it up sometimes. Okay? Let me show you this. This is a place called, I think it's called Buck Creek Coffee, a little coffee shop in my town. And what do you notice about the holder there, the heat holder? Somebody drew it. That's custom. That's not some printed thing that says, thank you for coming. That's a custom thing. What are they doing all day when somebody's not there? Grabbing a pen and writing some things down. How can you do that for your kids? How can you get creative? How many of you have used the same Bibles? Like everybody, you have the Bible, and everybody's like, you say, well, we're going to hand out Bibles, and you have the same Bible, and every kid gets the same Bible. Who's that? Nobody. Okay. How many of you have Bibles that are all different? You just say, here. Okay, let me make an excuse for you as to why you should have the same Bible. Depending on, you pick whatever version you want. If you pick the same Bible, here's what you get to do. With kids who don't know the Bible, you can say, turn to page 124. Because they can't find what you're looking for. You say, go to 1 Thessalonians, then you spend 10 minutes helping a kid find the book. Right? Well, that's good for them. Yeah, but it's slow. And you're trying to move things along. They can do that eventually, but if you get the same Bibles, so what if you did this? And I did this with ours. We got our own set of Bibles, and then we customized those Bibles. I can't remember what she used, but it was kind of like the peely thing, and you make it, you peel it, you put it on, and then she put people's names on their Bibles. So when they came in, they had their Bible. So how can you customize, right, your youth ministry based on people that come in? That creates ownership. That creates, this is my group, and that's my Bible, and this is the thing. All right, who's got something, they've already figured out something, and which part did you figure out? So you have an event, tell me who's got something, who actually created something. You found something to do with your event, to make it better. Yes?
Very rough draft.
What was your event?
So we have a camp coming up in March.
Camp in March, okay. Okay, and which area did you say, how can I do what? What is it?
So trying to be creative, trying to do a game. They have these big inflatable plastic balls that you can get in and roll down the hill.
Yeah.
And trying to make a game with human bowling where we would set up some kind of pins
right
for them to actually be going until.
Or middle schoolers.
Yes.
Just put a bunch of middle schoolers and hey, go stand there. And if they hit you, just fall down. Okay? Anybody else? You keep writing while I'm talking, but I'm just trying to find some people who you found something. You found a yes, ma'am. What is your event?
It's a youth rally. I'm just helping with it. But I noticed the last one that we did, where I came and assisted, they didn't really have like a poster or banner to identify that that's where it was. So I just started designing it myself.
Right.
So to make it more beautiful, to actually have them do a poster or make banners so we can see where it's at.
Okay.
And do flyers too to like move around town so that people actually know what's like happening. It's really just
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with some physicality to you. What you're making beautiful, you can make it beautiful to the public as well, right? Absolutely, with physical things. Anybody else? One more. Yes. What's your event?
We're going to a camp in March called Team Hawaii.
Okay.
We're going to the one in Oahu, and normally we'll wear like our youth shirts to the airport.
Right.
But since we just transferred over youth leaders, our church wants us to go with a whole new name, which means a whole new design for our shirt. So I was thinking make like a whole new logo and design with our new name and everything on it.
Okay, and would you put that under beautiful or under making a creative, or where did you put that? Under beautiful? Okay. All right. Anybody else? I'm gonna leave anybody out if you have a thing. Yes.
We've been doing like a book study with some of our high school girls, and for creativity, like we try to make it as personal as possible because it is someone else's book, and
Right.
so like we're having them write letters to themselves at the end of the study, and
Right.
to just have them compare, and also like pulling people from our church to come and like answer questions and make that relationship with them.
Awesome. Awesome. You can always make something in one of those areas. You don't have to do that with everything, but if you have major events coming up, an outreach, something, you can always work on one of those things in there. Another thing, like if you're going somewhere and it's like a conference, whatever it is, why not give your own kids, they can wear their t-shirts, or you can just give them something like this. Give them a cool lanyard to wear, right? You can just say, look, you're part of the deal. You're part of the team. By the way, I would say do this with whatever your guest relations are. Is a good area. How do we treat guests? How do we make their experience? Like if their first time in our youth ministry is like the first time coming into a restaurant. How do we make their experience beautiful? How do we make their experience delicious? How do we make their experience creative? And how do we make their experience intentional? That's an area you can do, as with other areas. Let me show you this real quick and then I'll be done. It says here, it says, want something great in 2020? What do you say?
Yes.
Easy, quick money, and the hard work.
That's right. So it's always, everybody's going to line up on the easy. Most youth ministries line up on easy. Throw it together, put it out there, pray. That's it. Hope it works. The people who do the hard work, if you're willing to do the hard work, you'll succeed. All you have to do is work hard. And on these areas, because they matter. They matter to people. So I will close with this. So I have, or amongst other things, a podcast. How many listen to podcasts? A few of you, okay. So I have what is called the Youth Ministry Motion Podcast. The podcast that keeps you motivated and your youth ministry moving forward. I do everything. I'm coming up on episode 100, I think. In about four episodes maybe. My last episode, I did one with youth ministry from a parent's perspective. Had a parent come on and talk about what they expected from their youth ministry. You might want to listen to that. Because parents have certain expectations too. The one before that, I had a friend of mine named Brian Abbey, and he talked about, some of you might be in transition or you're looking for a job, he talks about the youth ministry job market and what that's like and what you should do to prepare for that should something awful happen, like you do a great event and the church fires you. But, and I am, by the way, I am the number one by algorithms, what is called the number one youth ministry amongst other youth ministry podcasts. And I thought that was funny because somebody called me and said, hey buddy, congratulations, you're the number one. You're ranked, this is the day after I was ranked the number one youth ministry podcast on the planet. So what do you think I do when I hear that I'm the number one youth ministry podcast? You know what I do? I go back to my day job, which is working as an assistant facility manager. Youth ministry of all kinds, you just gotta work. You just gotta work. You just gotta go back to work. You can only go and say, look, I had this great event. Great, you had a great event. Go back to work. Enjoy it for about a day. And then say, you know what? Got a youth meeting next week. I'm gonna go to work. Go back to work. Enjoy your victories, okay? They're important, but don't rest on them. Because what is successful now may not be successful later. That's why you're always changing. All right? Let's say, guys, thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your guys' attention today. If you got something from the video, I would love to hear from you. Which one of those 4 rules did you get the most from? Do you think you need to work on? Do you think you need to add into the mix of creating? Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you're brand new to the channel, thank you so much for checking it out. Appreciate you, that you're here. Be sure to click the subscribe button because I would love for you to be a part of this community. If you're a regular, as always, you guys are super valuable. You're awesome. You leave comments, you share videos. Thank you so much for that. Would love to hear your comments down below. And be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Let me know you like the video and you want more of them. So stay tuned for more videos. We'll see you guys later.